Are you guys ready for 2025? I mean, here I am hanging out, and a few minutes ago, I get a Twitter ping, and do you know what it says? It talks about a lawsuit involving one Sean P. Diddy Combs that was filed in October and was amended today, and it included one Sean Carter. Did not plan on going live tonight. I was sitting here getting ready for the Ashley Merchant interview tomorrow, but I mean, the names, shout out to Panda, the names will be named just in time for Christmas. The names shall be named. And you're like, AV, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about, let me make sure I have the right thing up here. We're talking about this. Everybody's alive right now. We're talking about this. We're talking about this legal document that has been filed today, 21 pages long. United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Jane Doe, who at the time was 13 years old. Sean P. Diddy Combs, all his companies, blah, blah, blah. Last name on here, Sean Carter. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay-Z has been named in a legal document. So we're going to read it. Few things. This was originally filed in October. We have been busy with the YSL stuff. Haven't really had a lot of time and capacity to look at what's happening here. Now we do. Now we have time. I see the Rock Nation post, but like this just dropped about an hour ago. I was just on the phone doing some other stuff. I was getting ready for Ashley. News dropped, and I was like, all right, let's watch the news. Verified it on Google News. This has been reported nationally by NBC, the New York Post, Fox News, Page 6, CNN, Variety, USA Today, ABC News. You guys know I verify before we share. This is serious. So let's see what's going on. And let's break it down legally, not just to read it, but we're going to see what happened. There's a picture in this lawsuit. You know how we've been talking about with some of the Diddy parties that there are drugs involved. And I think it was a little scrappy. Let's take this comment down. Somebody had a really, really good theory about the way in which these people were drugged at the parties. Is it the baby oil? Is it the drinks? How do these people get drugged? Ladies and gentlemen, there's a photograph in this lawsuit that shows one of the method in which these people were drugged. Now, again, this document was filed. Y'all remember that lawyer down in, I think it's Texas? There was a big 1-800 number, a big press conference. Anybody that wants to sue Diddy, call us. We will verify it. They got over 2,000 to 3,000, like at least people that called that tip line. I believe that this lawsuit is a result of that. The attorney that is responding on behalf of a lot of those people, there are, I think, a total of between 120 to 130 total victims represented by attorney Busby. They reduced the number down from 2,000 to 120 odd lawsuits that are credible. Jaguar Wright was on Piers Morgan like a month or two ago. We talked about it briefly, but we've been focused on YSL, so we didn't jump into it too much. But we saw that. And Jaguar said something about Jay-Z. The next day, he issued an apology. Piers Morgan did, for implicating Jay-Z and Beyonce in things that were not factual. So I want y'all to keep this in mind, that Jay-Z has a pretty solid legal team. I'm going to tell you that right now. And it's likely that this week is going to be pretty heavy. It is likely that leading up to Diddy's trial in May, guys, we're going to see a lot of days like this. Just going to pop out of nowhere. We're going to be like, oh, there's another legal document. Oh, there's more. All the ladies in the chat, like, Jaguar was right. I'm going to just stop talking. But I wanted to give you some context. Here it is. Young lady, after an MTV party, 13 years old, alleges that Diddy and Jay-Z did something to her. This is a complaint. Why is a complaint important? What is a legal complaint? A legal complaint is when someone initiates a lawsuit. The plaintiff has to sue you. This is what they're saying to be true, okay? This was filed in October. Today, Sean Carter's name was added to it. It was amended today. Can you amend complaints? Yes. There's a lot of talks about tapes and things and people's names being hidden from lawsuits and things of the like, usually because the attorneys try to negotiate with people on the side, especially public figures. The name has been named. It's been revealed. The gloves are off. The gloves are off. Let's see what it says. Let's keep an open mind. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Plaintiff, Jane Doe, who at the time was 13, buying through her attorneys, the Busby law firm, for her complaint, alleges the following. Intro. Defendant Sean P. Diddy Combs, aka Diddy, Puff Daddy, PD, aka Love, Brother Love, along with his longtime friend and collaborator Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others were present at the after party, but did nothing to stop the assault. Oh, Busby's not playing with y'all. I don't think I've ever read a more aggressive introduction to a complaint than this one. And we've read a lot of the Diddy complaints. This one is the most straightforward. I'm not playing games with you. This is what happened. Whoo! Let's keep going. Many others were present at the after party, but did nothing to stop the assault. Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences. He believes he is above the law. He is not. His close friend, that's the second time they said that, Sean Carter, has been with Combs during many such instances described herein. Both perpetrators must face justice. Busby is not fucking with y'all. Oh my God, that's just the first paragraph. Okay. For decades, defendant Combs abused, molested, raped, assaulted, threatened, and coerced women, minors, and others for sexual gratification, to assert dominance and to conceal his conduct. He accomplished these acts by and through a criminal enterprise built on his success as a rapper, record producer, and record executive. Combs is one of the wealthiest musical artists in the world. Behind the facade of being a 3-time Grammy Award winner, discovering and developing multiple famous musical artists, and ranking on Forbes' list of the highest paid entertainers in the world, there existed something sinister. A dark underbelly of crime, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and prostitution. Combs Combs is a menace to society, women and children. While his wealth has kept him from above consequence for years, Combs now faces the awesome power of the American judicial system and ultimately a jury of his peers who will be asked to punish him for his deplorable conduct described therein. That is a hell of an introduction, guys. And if Busby has 100 more of these, we're in for it. Okay? Let's see what they alleged. This is crazy. It's like reading a novel. Are y'all ready? You got your popcorn. Get your drink. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Get your drink. Combs businesses. Combs' business enterprise is central to the pervasive acts of sexual assault and abuse committed by him during these last decades. Combs operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan, in LA, under a variety of US-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Books, Inc., Bad Boy Records, LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment, LLC, Bad Boy Productions, LLCs, Daddy's House Recording Studio, well, that doesn't sound suspect at all, and CEOPCO, LLC, that also sounds a little sketchy, DBA Combs Global, FKA Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively, the Combs business. Corporate entities in the Combs business portfolio included record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits promoting business, a marketing agency, talent discovery, a television network, and a media company. On the surface, each of these businesses served a legitimate purpose related to entertainment, music, and other subjects. But in reality, Diddy, by and through himself and his agents, employees, contractors, used these businesses to assault, abuse, threaten, and coerce hundreds of individuals through sexual quid pro quo schemes, as well as to take advantage of individuals with impunity, thinking the victims would never have any recourse. Combs and his agents, employees, and contractors through his businesses would tell victims, this is what it takes to be famous. What are you willing to do to become a star and perform this sexual act or else? In exchange for the victim performing non-consensual acts for the gratification of Diddy and his cohort. Members and associates of the Combs business engaged in and or attempted to engage in, among other activities, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation of the purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. The Combs business constituted an ongoing organization where members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of Combs. Now, in our narrative, ladies and gentlemen, his pervasive history of SA and violence. For years, Diddy and his businesses engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women, men, and minors. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated both men and women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with both commercial sex workers and unsuspecting partygoers. This reminds us of one Cat Williams, who says, when Diddy asks you to party with him, what do you say, chat? Let me know, chat. Who's going to get it first? What do you say, chat, when Diddy asks you to party with him? You got to tell him what? Do you tell him yes? Do you tell him maybe? Thank you, Super Pete. The answer is you got to tell Diddy no. Thank you so much, Ricky Cook. Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you so much, ZMT, who says no. Y'all all know you have to tell Diddy no. Drink champs. We joke about scrambling and scraping. And now that I read this, it's really not funny. I love it when you're scrambling and scraping, Daddy. Grabbing another grown man's hand and saying, come here, Daddy. I mean, let's just read it. Chat knows. Like, you got to tell him no. You got to tell him no. All right, let's go back in. We're only on page 3 out of 21. Thank you, Fatima. Let's go back in. Combs ensured participation from these individuals by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them with or without their knowledge, controlling their careers, leveraged his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation, violence, and illicit drugs. Combs particularly fancied the use of popular date rape drug Refinol, or GHB. Okay, so GHB was his poison. To commit heinous non-consensual acts of sexual violence and rape onto countless victims. Combs often would secretly use the drug in an alcoholic beverage served at his parties. Partygoers were forced to consume the alcoholic beverage containing GHB either prior to entering or while at a Combs party. There were also allegations of Diddy dousing victims in lotions, or I told y'all, oh my God, shout out to Little Scrappy. I knew it. So they were putting the drugs in the baby oil. That's why there was all the baby oil. They were putting that crap in the baby oil. So if somebody is lathering up, if they are dousing themselves in baby oil, if Diddy's like, yeah, you know, we're about to take that, all that. If he's just like, let me rub this in on you. So even if you don't drink, I knew it. Shout out to Little Scrappy. And guys, my soundboard's not working right now. I want to hit the like that. I knew it. There's a picture of that in here. It is horrible. It is horrible. Say what? I'm not celebrating this at all. I'm celebrating the fact that I knew when he got arrested, when the raid happened, there were thousands of bottles of baby oil. Come on. Why do you have that, man? And you guys know that the cops or law enforcement, they released the Cassie video. They released the fact that the baby oil was found. But why did he have that much? GHB, and you're going to see a picture of it in a second, guys, because it's like a syringe that they used to put it in drinks and things. If you could put it in a drink, why can't you put it in baby oil if it's absorbed through your skin? Oh, this is so crazy. I mean, Corey, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. All right, let me go back small. Let's go back to the T. Okay. There are also allegations of Diddy dousing victims in lotions or similar body oils, also laced with GHB, so that the drug would be absorbed through the victim's skin and make it easier to assault him or her. Further, it is well known that Diddy had a practice of lacing water bottles with other substances, such as Xanax, and distributing them at his parties. Diddy's recurrent and pervasive physical abuse took place for multiple decades. His tendencies of violence and sexual assault were known amongst his colleagues, employees, agents, and businesses. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 1996 and continuing for years, Diddy assaulted women and men by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. Diddy also assaulted children. Both physically and sexually. In 1996, Diddy was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a photographer, I remember this, from the New York Post with a gun. In 1999, he was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief in connection with assaulting a record executive. Diddy was arrested again the same year for his involvement in shooting at a club in New York. This is the Shine incident. Another instance of violence occurred at an LA hotel in March of 2016, which captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman who was attempting to leave his hotel room. When hotel security staff intervened, Diddy attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Yeah, he wanted to pay them $50K. That was a Cassie video. In the past year, numerous civil complaints have been filed by the plaintiffs who allege that they have been abused by Combs between 1991 and 2009. In November of 23, 3 lawsuits were filed against Combs under the New York Adult Survivors Act. Cassie Ventura, an artist signed at Bad Boy, sued Diddy in New York for rape and abuse. She alleged Combs facilitated acts by and through supplying Miss Ventura with copious amounts of drugs and urging her to take them beginning in 2006. Joy Dickerson-Neal, we've also covered this one, also sued Diddy in New York, alleging he drugged her, essayed her, and secretly recorded the assault in 91. Liza Gardner, whom Diddy met at an event hosted by the record label affiliated with Bad Boy, sued him for raping her and a friend in 1990 and 1991 when she was only 16. In December of 23, an anonymous plaintiff sued Diddy in New York for drugging and gang raping her in 2003 when she was only 17. This victim alleged that employees and business associates of Combs, through their affiliation with Bad Boy, lured her into his home, where he then raped her. I think this number 14 here, I think this is the one that had to do with Aaron Hall. In February of 2024, Little Rod, one of Diddy's former producers, sued Diddy for forcing him to engage in unwanted sex acts and trafficking, amongst other allegations. Mr. Jones alleged that Diddy regularly drugged others, including minors, by giving them drugs laced with ecstasy and other date rape drugs. Mr. Jones alleged that Diddy, in fact, drugged him as well in order to commit acts of assault. Okay, 16. I think this is the bedazzled pants. In May of 24, former model Crystal McKinney and April Lamprose, 2 of them, we covered both of these, sued Diddy. Miss McKinney alleged that Combs drugged and essayed her at his recording studio in 2023. Mimicking what has now become a known pattern, Combs promised Miss McKinney to help her with her modeling career in exchange for exchanging in sexual conduct with him. And remember, one of these ladies in paragraph 17 actually has the pants with his jizz on it, so the DNA has been preserved. Miss Lamprose, an intern at Arista Records, which was an owner of Bad Boy, also sued Combs in May of 24 in New York County Supreme Court for raping her on multiple occasions, secretly filming these acts and showing the recordings to multiple people. He had tapes. Miss Lamprose also alleges that Diddy ordered her to take drugs on one occasion before he raped her. 17. In July of 24, former adult film star Andrea English, who was employed by Combs as an entertainer at his infamous white parties that brought together the biggest names in the music industries, especially in the Hamptons, sued Diddy in the Southern District of New York for sex trafficking, alleging that he required her to consume drinks laced with ecstasy and recorded the acts. In September of 24, singer and songwriter Dawn Angelique Richard also sued Combs. Richard was employed by Combs as part of the girl group Danity Kane, formed by Diddy, and later as a key member of Diddy's band Diddy, Dirty Money. She sued Combs in New York for SA, false imprisonment, and for subjecting her to hostile work conditions due to her gender, including degrading comments and threats. Ms. Richard has alleged that Diddy regularly supplied others, including minors, with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol and subjected them to sexual acts while they were sedated and or unconscious due to the drugs and alcohol. Keeps going. In September of 24, a federal grand jury in Manhattan indicted Diddy and charged him with sex trafficking, racketeering, there's RICO, and the creation of a criminal enterprise which he abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. I've read that indictment to you guys. The indictment explains that Diddy's abuse of women and minors was enabled and conspired by the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Combs' long history of violence against women unequivocally establishes that his actions are motivated by gender, both men and women. Well, I'm putting on my sprinkle voice. I've seen some allegations from men. It does say here that it's both men and women. And I think what's shocking about this one is that it's children. And a lot of people are curious about what's happening because of the other celebrities that were involved, who was complacent, all of those things, right? You've had some other people that were minors, people are saying, Usher, Justin Bieber, the kid from that Disney show that was on That's So Raven and is just all tapped out right now. Orlando Brown. It's crazy. It really is. Let's keep going. Diddy has a profound contempt for women and a desire to dominate both minors and other men. His conduct shows a long-lasting practice of, oh my God. Okay, he has a long-standing practice of defeating and attempting to humiliate men, women, and children. His practices and desires are different for men, women, and children, but his actions are unequivocally motivated by the victim's particular gender and age. Plaintiff's allegations herein substantially mirror Diddy's prior conduct and established through criminal indictments and other lawsuits. Through this case, plaintiff seeks a full measure of justice from a man who, through his power, money, and influence, rendered him untouchable. Plaintiff joins many other victims by filing this complaint and hopes their common voice makes it impossible for Diddy to assault another person ever again. All right, guys. Are y'all ready for it? Now we got to talk about Hove. Now we got to talk about Jay-Z. Paragraph 22 is where it starts. Here we go. Defendant Carter is, like Diddy, a wildly successful rapper and businessman. Carter and Combs have a long-standing history together. Carter met and began collaborating musically with Combs in the 1990s. Combs and Carter rose together to the very top of the hip-hop industry in terms of fame and influence by the end of that decade. Combs and Carter were not simply occasional collaborators in the music industry. The two men developed a close friendship that has been well documented from the late 1990s to the present. Together, they attended countless music industry events for each other's business ventures, parties, and after parties. Indeed, the two are apparently so close that Diddy stated in 2023 that Carter was the only person other than Combs' mother who is allowed to call him by his legal first name of Sean. Why is that in here? Look at the italics. Diddy stated that Jay-Z is the only person, look at the italics, only person other than Diddy's mother who is allowed to call Diddy by his first name of Sean. Okay, we could have done without that. In 2000, Near the height of their fame, power, and influence, Diddy and Jay-Z attended the 2000 Video Music Awards, VMAs, in New York City. Afterwards, Diddy hosted an after party for many of the most famous celebrities in the music and entertainment industries, including Jay-Z, which is where the events alleged in this complaint occurred. All right, let's talk. Parties. Jane Doe is a 13-year-old woman at the time. She's a female who resides in Alabama. 26. Diddy is a male who, upon information and belief, resides in New York through incarceration this is his address, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Upon information and belief at all relevant times, Diddy owned or controlled Bad Boy Entertainment, Inc. Okay, these are all his businesses. We're going to skip that. The facts of Diddy's ownership and titles at his corporations enabled him and conspired with him to commit the unlawful violence against the plaintiff described therein. Defendant Daddy's House Recordings, Inc., Daddy's House. Why did he name it that? Would you want to go to Daddy's house? Oh, okay, let's just keep going. So, Daddy's House is a domestic business corporation that is incorporated in New York and upon information and belief now has a principal place of business in West Hollywood, California. Diddy is listed as the CEO in public filings with an address in New York. At the time of the events, Daddy's House was a world-class recording studio owned by Diddy in New York. Upon information and belief, Bad Boy and Diddy together owned and operated Daddy's House. Why are they focusing on that? Upon information and belief, Bad Boy was located on the premise of Daddy's House. Diddy used Daddy's House, the brand, the stature, and their ownership to commit SA against the plaintiff described therein. So it looks like it might have happened at one of the Daddy's House locations. Another defendant, this is another one of Diddy's businesses, Combs Global. I'm going to skip all that. It just talks about where the business is located, blah, blah, blah. As part of the renowned Bad Boy record label, Combs has established several corporate entities under the Bad Boy name over the past few years, including but not limited to, okay, upon information and belief, all of those are controlled and directed by Diddy. Okay, skipping that. This is just more of the business. It's important because it needs to show personal jurisdiction over the defendants. This is kind of sounds like legalese, guys, but personal jurisdiction, whenever you bring a lawsuit, you need to have three things. We call it SMV: subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, and venue. That's what these first few paragraphs are doing. So I don't want to bore you guys with the legal stuff, but it is important to know. They're trying to show where every single business is domiciled so it can prove that, hey, you know, we need to do this case in New York because these businesses operate out of New York. And it looks like the incident happened in New York as well. Okay, let's come to Jay-Z, starting on paragraph 32. That was all Diddy stuff. Let me just verify. Okay, yeah, I'm just giving it a final glance. So starting on 32, defendant Sean Carter is a male who, on information and belief, maintains residences in both New York and LA. Defendant Carter is more commonly known by his industry name of Jay-Z. Carter was identified in plaintiff's original complaint as Celebrity A. Prior to the filing of this amended complaint, Carter received a letter from plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter. And you could tell that this was just added, guys. You see this gap right here? This is how I could tell. Let me highlight it. This is how I can tell somebody recently edited something. People forget to do this. There's a huge gap there. They added something or pasted something, you copied something, you cut something in the editing of this legal document. So it looks like when she first filed this, when Busby first received this document, they first filed a complaint in October. They attempted and they concealed Jay-Z's name. They called him Celebrity A in the document, and they attempted to go to him for mediation. What does that mean? They wanted to come to some sort of settlement. Let's see what happened, because since this has been amended today to release his name, it sounded like something happened in the negotiation process for them to come out with his name. Interesting. Upon present information and belief, Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, but also orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, intimidation against the plaintiff's lawyers, their families, employees, former associates, to attempt to silence the plaintiff from naming Jay-Z herein. Oh my God. This effort was meant to scare the plaintiff or discredit her counsel. That effort failed. Indeed, plaintiff chose to file this amended complaint as a result of the egregious conduct perpetuated by Carter. Okay, all right. Now we know where this is coming from. If y'all can hit the like button for me, please. It's late on a Sunday. I could be in bed. So, she filed this lawsuit in October. Sent a letter to Jay-Z saying, hey, let's mediate. Let's talk about a settlement. Here nor there. Let's talk about it. Jay-Z responded and said, no, we're not going to talk. I'm going to sue you, and I'm going to come after your lawyers. I'm going to come after your lawyers' families. I'm going to intimidate and bully and harass you. That's what she says in this lawsuit. I'm not saying it's true, guys, but that's what's here. And you do need to think about this when it comes to legal proceedings. They do get ugly. The fact that we are here right now, and on this monitor over here, guys, this is now national news. It seems as if this was received as a shakedown. And I don't know if they were like, hey, we're going to out your name unless we come to a settlement. I've seen some of you guys say the words extortion in the chat. I don't know, guys. But it is quite interesting. I did want to pause there on paragraph 32 because it seems like they were in negotiation and the negotiation broke down, which is why we are where we are right now. Okay. 33. Each of the Diddy corporations aided and abetted Combs in committing the unlawful violence against the plaintiff. B, their alter egos for Diddy, completely dominated by him and used for his personal interest and to engage in wrongdoing, harm by the plaintiffs, and to serve as vehicles for Diddy to move, dispose of, insulate his assets in connection with his criminal activities to avoid compensating the victims of his many crimes, including the plaintiff. They're putting that in there for the RICO charge. Jurisdiction and venue. This just tells you that the jurisdiction and venue are proper. Jurisdiction meaning that New York is the proper place to sue, that the state of New York has the power to hail these defendants, haul them into court, those sorts of things. And the venue meaning the proper court in which to bring the case, right? So that you see all of that there. They demand a jury demand here. Here is the fun stuff. Factual allegations. Are y'all ready? Buckle up. On or around September 7th, plaintiff, then 13 years old, had a friend drive and drop her off near Radio City Music Hall in New York City so she can try to attend the VMAs. Attending the VMAs was on the plaintiff's bucket list, and she believes she can gain entry. Reminder, she is 13 years old. Plaintiff arrived at the venue and saw large crowds gathering as artists and entertainers began arriving. Plaintiff was very excited. As the event began, much of the crowd moved inside, but Plaintiff, without a ticket, remained outside with others and watched the VMAs on the Jumbotron. Determined to get into the VMAs or an after party, she approached several limousine drivers parked nearby and attempted to talk her way into either. I mean, this sounds like an eager young girl. Parents, if I had a 13-year-old daughter that was not about me, we're reading a legal document. One of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to have worked for Diddy. The driver told her that Diddy liked younger girls and said she would fit what Diddy was looking for. Oh my God. And while not allowing her into the awards, the driver invited her to an after party. What the fuck? Sorry. What? Okay. The driver stated that he had to drive Diddy and others to the after party first, but instructed the plaintiff to return to his location after the event and that he would pick her up and take her to the after party. Later that evening, plaintiff excitedly returned to the same location and waited for what seemed to her a long time. And y'all got to remember, this is 2000. This is before people used cell phones and things. Like pagers? What did we use in 2000, guys? Did we use phones, pagers? Was it the Nokia back then? What were we using? Thank you, Mars. Why wasn't the driver listed? Nextel's pagers in 2000. Okay, crappy cell phones. Interesting. Because this was in the year 2000, but let's keep going and see what else they have to say here. The driver eventually returned and drove her to what he described as the after party. After approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at what she believed to be a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. Once inside, two men asked her to sign a document, which was very likely an NDA, which plaintiff did not read, but which she now believes to have been a non-disclosure agreement. She was told that she could not discuss what happened at the party. In contract law, there is a mechanism where if you sign a contractual agreement, one of the ways out of it is if you're incapacitated, if you're medically declared insane, one of which is a minor. I'm sorry, my legal hat keeps going on, guys. My legal hat keeps going on. But anyway, so now we have an issue with the validity of that NDA and the validity of that contract. She then gave the men her name and signed the form, but did not receive a copy. 46. Inside the building, plaintiff recognized many celebrities as she entered what appeared to be a large living room or a foyer containing a large crowd. Plaintiff attempted to mingle in the crowd and talked to several of the celebrities that she recognized and whom she wanted to see at the VMAs. Wait staff circulated through the room carrying trays of drinks and loud music played through the venue. So this girl is 13. Did she look 13? Did anybody say anything about her being 13? Okay. Let's keep going. Plaintiff observed widespread drug use, including marijuana and cocaine. After attempting to talk to numerous celebrities, plaintiff accepted a drink from one of the waitresses circulating the crowd. The drink was a reddish yellow mixture and it tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. Here it is, y'all. After drinking just a portion of that drink, plaintiff began to feel woozy, lightheaded, making her need to lie down. A photograph of an actual exemplary container used by Diddy and or his agents to insert GHB into alcoholic drinks is seen below. So this is a pen to show you the size and scale, but this is what they use to put the drugs into the drinks. Okay. Looking for a place to rest, plaintiff walked down what appeared to be a hallway containing several rooms off of it. She entered what appeared to be an empty bedroom. What? I thought they were at a place with... It's an after party, but for some reason there are bedrooms in this after party venue. Anyway, let's continue. She walked down what appeared to be a hallway containing several rooms off of it. She entered what appeared to be an empty bedroom so she could lie down for a moment. She did not lock the door. This room contained only a large bed with no furniture of any kind, television, or other furnishing. Soon after, Diddy entered the room, along with Jay-Z and a female celebrity known as Celebrity B. Plaintiff immediately recognized all three celebrities. Oh. It was a mansion. Sorry, I did miss that, guys. It was a mansion. I remember the U-shaped thing now. Who's Celebrity B? God damn. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." Oh my God. Did he got... What did Cat Williams say? When Diddy asks you if you're ready to party, you got to tell him no. I want to know who this woman is. Who is Celebrity B? And Diddy pulls this young girl and says, "You are ready to party." What? Diddy then threw the plaintiff towards the wall, causing her to fall. Plaintiff got up and stumbled, at which Diddy grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. At that point, Jay-Z began removing her clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. Plaintiff was held down by Jay-Z as he vaginally raped her, while Diddy and Celebrity B watched. After Jay-Z finished, he stepped back towards the wall. Diddy then stepped forward and raped her while Jay-Z and Celebrity B watched. Diddy then knocked plaintiff down and attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral on him. She fought back, standing up quickly, and punched out at the same time, hitting Diddy in the neck. Taken back, Diddy stopped his attempt. When Diddy backed away in surprise, plaintiff grabbed her clothes and shoes and ran out of the bedroom, holding her dress in front of her like a towel. She ran around the residence until she found the front door and was able to leave the party. Although there were other guests still at the party, no one appeared to take notice of the plaintiff's distress and or attempted to help her. Once outside, she put her clothes back on and left the scene in the dark. Plaintiff attempted to retrace the route taken by the limo driver. She kept running until she reached a gas station she noticed on the way to the party. A female clerk noticed her distress and allowed her to use a phone. Plaintiff called her father, admitted that she had lied about her whereabouts, and asked him to come pick her up. Plaintiff's father arrived to pick her up shortly before dawn. I mean, you should call the police, but... After the assault, plaintiff fell asleep into a deep depression. After the assault, plaintiff fell into a deep depression, which continues to affect every facet of her life. Plaintiff suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and a seizure disorder caused by stress and trauma. Plaintiff has had difficulty maintaining normal relationships and lives largely withdrawn from society. First cause of action, the violation of the New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act against all defendants. I'm not going to read that. You guys know about that law. Really, it looks like the emphasis here is that nobody did anything to stop it. Oh, that's it. That's really the only law she's using. So in that case, let's read it. So it says here, plaintiff incorporates each of the following paragraphs as fully set forth herein. By forcing sexual contact onto the plaintiff as a minor female, Diddy and Jay-Z committed a crime of violence motivated by gender under this law. The requirement of the crime of violence be committed because of gender and or on the basis of gender and due at least in part to animus based on the victim's gender is satisfied because Diddy and Jay-Z forced a minor to engage in sexual interaction without consent. Jane Doe could not effectively consent because of her age. The non-consensual touching of a minor herein presented a serious risk of physical injury and in fact caused such injury. Gender adheres when consent is absent. Diddy's long history of violence and abuse against women evinces a deep contempt and desire for domination over women. The Diddy business enabled and conspired with Combs and Carter to commit the crime of violence motivated by gender because Diddy and Jay-Z assaulted the plaintiff at a party related to or referencing Diddy's business. On information and belief, Diddy's businesses routinely committed these types of acts and gender-motivated violence as detailed in the lawsuits to further the business purpose of Combs Enterprise. Given Diddy's longstanding pattern and practice of committing these acts against women, the Combs businesses had and or should have had knowledge of Diddy using such parties and venues for this unlawful conduct and did nothing to stop it. The Diddy businesses enabled and conspired with Diddy to commit the crime of violence motivated by gender by failing to, amongst other things, protect the plaintiff from a known danger and or should have sufficient policies and procedures in place to prevent things like this from happening or train their employees from preventing SA. Given a longstanding pattern and practice of doing it against women, including on the premises owned and operated by the defendants, the Combs corporations, and or should have had knowledge that Diddy was a danger to the plaintiff and did nothing to stop Diddy. Diddy's businesses enabled and conspired Diddy to commit the crime of violence motivated by gender by failing to properly supervise. So they're just breaking this down, like how the businesses failed to do that. I don't see Jay-Z's name down here, though. It looks like she's also, what does she want? She wants compensatory damages. She wants money for all of her injuries. She wants punitive damages, so money to punish them for not doing this in the future. She wants attorney's fees and costs. She wants pre- and post-judgment interest on all damages, fees, or costs. Real property and other assets located in New York. And any other further relief the court may deem just and proper. Ooh, Lord. That's the latest in the Diddy files. I mean, it just came out 2 hours ago. I had to jump on here real quick. I'm like, even if it's a quick little episode where we read it, What do y'all think? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, poor thing, right? There was definitely some negotiation happening because Jay-Z was listed as celebrity A, but who was celebrity B? Shout out to the Tip Network with the 10 says little sis fast on the draw. Relevance, guns a-blazing. That's right. We had to jump on here quick. Shout out to ZMT Indy, who gifted 5 AV memberships. Thank you so much, ZMT Indy. Appreciate you for that one. Miss Crow T. Shetty gifted the 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Miss Crow T. Shetty. Right? We live right now. A little bit of a late night. On a Sunday. Shout out to Live from NYC. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. With the $20 super chat says, Jay-Z now has 100 followers. Yes. This is not good for media. I'm just looking at Google News and it's everywhere. That's not. Good luck to that PR team. Shout out to Question Everything with the 2 says, we want all the names. The names must be named. Who's celebrity B? Is it Mary J? Is it J-Lo? Who is celebrity B? Shout out to Trax with the 5 says, she sure has a lot of details for someone who's supposedly drugged. Trax. And remember, her attorney is Busby. Busby is the man, if you guys remember when this first happened, very popular, good attorney that is leading the charge in a lot of these lawsuits. They originally had 3,000 people call in with to their tip line, and they narrowed it down to the 100 viable cases. So, good point. And she remembered everything after all this time. Shake my head. Another hearsay story. Interesting. Shout out to Louisiana Lady with the 5 said, I had to get your perspective and spread the love. Thank you so much, Louisiana Lady. Yeah, so here's the thing. Some of y'all saying Foxy Brown is vehemently does not want anything to do with any of this stuff. Here's my opinion. I think 2025 is going to be a circus. We're going to hear so much more stories like this. And I think we just need to know that many celebrities are going to be indicated in these documents. Now we have JC. I'm telling you, I'm calling it. There's going to be many more. I've seen so many of these documents where it says celebrity XYZ, celebrity John Doe, and we're all trying to piece together who we think these people are. But this is going to be a war on Hollywood because Diddy's not going to go down by himself. He is not going down by himself. 2025 is going to be a Cat Williams masterpiece. It really is. That's what I think. I'm not making any judgment calls right now. What I do want to see is, did he get justice for what he did to Cassie? Because we saw that, guys. There's no excuse for that behavior. Pulling a woman down by her hair down a hallway, no excuse for that. And then to apologize for it in a sweaty t-shirt in the back of your backyard. Put on a suit. Own what you did. Shit. Really be sorry. Are you really sorry? This is just, it's going to be a crazy year, guys. So shout out to Love's Curly Hair. It's been a member for 3 months. Says, celebrate. B is J-Lo. Sorry for the 13-year-old. I really feel bad. I really feel for her. I was attacked by a teacher in PR when I was 13 and never said anything about it. I'm really sorry to hear that. Love's Curly Hair. And that's the thing. There are real victims that go through stuff, right? And we got to keep an open mind because it sucks. It really does change you. If it's happened to you, it happens to men too. There'd be weird people that touch you. You're get off me, man. What are you doing? So this is one of many lawsuits that we can expect. I expect us to get them weekly. But I wanted to pop on here real quick, read this one to you because this is a pretty serious one against Jay-Z. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We will be back tomorrow. I still got to get Ashley ready for her interview tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. See you in the next one. Bye.